Well, good afternoon. This is Tom Neely. I'm one of the board members of the Cornelius Corps, and you're looking at Jim Melson, the executive director of the Cornelius Corps. And here today just to take a few minutes and answer a couple questions about Cornelius Corps and part of our year-end funding push. So, Jim, good to see you. The Cornelius Corps has changed quite a bit over the last couple of years. One, you guys moved to Richmond, Virginia from the Washington, D.C. area in August of 2020, right during the pandemic. But there's been other changes that have also kind of permanently reshaped the ministry. And you believe that these changes have accelerated the impact of the ministry. In what way? Why do you say that?
Yeah, well, thank you, Tom. When we were led to move to Richmond in August of 2020, it was in the pandemic, right in the heart of the time that things were really shut down. And I wondered what would happen with the call of our ministry. And what really happened was it expanded through the use of a platform like Zoom, through email, just in the virtual world. We were able to connect with people from a variety of places that we really hadn't connected with before. And that included people all the way from Maine to North Carolina to here in the Richmond area, as well as in DC. So again, it turned out to be a way of expanding the ministry rather than have it contract or go away.
Yeah, that's really cool. How God's used this. What seemed might have been a problem, it seemed at the beginning. I want to reflect also back on the fact that this ministry has been named the Cornelius Corps since day one. And in my mind, that means there's others working towards the same end or have some interdependence to make them part of the core of the Cornelius Corps. How has this extended reach accelerated that work, so to speak?
Yeah, that part of our name, CORPS, this group of people with a common cause. And we found that with the use of the online platforms, that we've been able to connect to people who have a similar calling but are in different places, and especially that calling around the intersection of spiritual formation and racial justice. There are people in different parts of the country who do share that calling and yet who may not feel resourced or connected with other folks. And it really has helped us to feel like the core part is developing. And not only developing online, but in these last couple months, as things have opened up here in Richmond, we've also been able to connect with some folks physically so that we're reestablishing an in-person connection in our new city of Richmond, but also continuing the development of the core to expand to other places through the online platforms.
How have you witnessed the expansion coming with groups that were already doing it, with new groups? What kind of things have you seen emerge?
Yeah, there were some groups that we had connected with already. An example of that is the Covenant Group of Baptist Pastors from the Mid-Atlantic Cooperative Baptist Fellowship that was headquartered in the DC area when we were still up there. That has continued in an online way. We've established new relationships. One very important one is with an organization called Neighborhood Seminary that provides a variety of resources online. And we were brought in and asked to work with Neighborhood Seminary, again, especially in that area of the connection between spiritual formation and racial justice and reconciliation. So it's been great to continue to work with folks we've worked with before, but also to begin to make new connections, both virtually and now in person here in Richmond.
That is great. And, it feels like there's both some maturing of those groups as they kind of go off more on their own call and bring their own people into place, as well as aligning with the other organizations. Why is this multiplying effect important for the work of the Cornelius Corps?
Yeah, I think our particular area of focus, that formation and racial justice area, is one that is really important anytime, but especially in the time in which we're living now. And there are people in different places that share that calling but may not feel connected. And so we want to be able to multiply the core, not just to make it bigger in numbers, but so that people who are called to this essential part of discipleship feel resourced and connected with each other. And we will continue to work on that in various ways, both with the groups we're working with now to help them continue and deepen, and with new groups to introduce and hopefully to stay with over the long haul so we can all be in this together.
So as we look into 2023 and to build on this momentum, what would you say is the priority, and what kind of work will we be doing this next year?
Yeah, some of it will be a continuation of the deepening process of working with people, offering classes and workshops. There'll also be new relationships built, both in person, across racial lines here in Richmond, and online as we get to meet new people. But we also want to expand the leadership base of the Corps. We have some very gifted people on our board who can be resources for the teaching and growth part of our ministry, and we want to be able to resource that so that we expand the leadership core as well as the participation core.
Well, that's great, and I know that means a little different kind of work for you. More leadership development than actually, doing the ministry. I know that's going to be a switch, but one that we look forward to seeing the fruit of. So throughout this campaign, who are we going to be hearing from in subsequent videos?
Yeah, representatives from different aspects of our ministry, especially the online presence. So we'll hear from a member of that covenant group, that Baptist covenant group that also focuses on formation and racial justice. We'll be hearing from a representative of Neighborhood Seminary, that organization that we've been blessed to connect with. We'll also hear from one of the pastors up in Maine. We worked with a group of pastors for 18 months during the pandemic. The final experience was the only in-person experience that we had. But that was a very meaningful time for all of us. And so whether it's from Maine or whether it's from Neighborhood Seminary or the group up in Northern Virginia, I think all three of those are good representations of our ministry.
Well, I look forward to helping create those interviews and sharing them. And for anybody watching this, just thank you so much for your support of the Cornelius Corps up till now. And we really hope that you prayerfully consider extending your support as the ministry grows into 2023.
And thank you, Tom. Thank you for putting together these interviews and for your faithfulness to our shared calling.
Most welcome.
Amen.